Hi, and welcome to Healthier Family Relationship. I am so excited because today we are going to talk with a wonderful woman that I just met, and it has been a delight. And this is Tamra Andress. Thank you, Tamra, for being part of the show, Healthier Family Relationship. And I would like you to introduce yourself. Can you please tell us more about you? Uh, and also about your business, please.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Liddy. This is amazing. And I'm so excited because I think ultimately everything that we do stems from the heart and health of our relationships, whether it's our relationship with self, whether it's our relationship with God, whether it's our relationship with our parents, our spouses, our children, right? Everything is relationally driven. So that is one of the reasons that I got my ordination and minister's licensing a few years ago. One, because I was really on a search and seeking my own self-identity, my own relationship with self and God, and also wanting to be a better wife and a mom in the process. I am a thought leader in spiritual entrepreneurship. And so business is my business. I love it so much. And a lot of people refer to me as a purpose activator. And what that means is that I really love to go into the depths of someone and help ignite what it is that they're here to do, what they're called to do, and help guide the way in that development. And while I don't believe that everyone needs to be an entrepreneur, I do believe that God calls us to utilize our gifts and talents and do so out of a place of purpose. And so that's something that I love to illuminate within others and help them to devise their business plans and how they're going to create impact in their world as well as their legacies. And relationships is really where that starts and finishes. So I'm excited to be here and excited to talk to you guys further about it.
Sounds good. You're talking about what you are doing and what you put in place to fulfill your call. And I was wondering that how do you take care of your call and at the same time pursue that willingness to build something, to have a business, to have a tribe, and also thinking about, oh, but if I want now to have a family, so you have yourself as individual, you have people that you are helping, and now you have also the extension that you want to create with the family. And sometimes we think that it's that three different categories: either I focus on me, or I'm going to focus on others, or now I'm going to think about having a family. But how it is possible, because when I'm hearing you, it's possible to do the three together and to be complete.
Yeah, I 1000% am super passionate about this because one, and I'm not wearing one right now, but I usually have a hat on, is the knowing that we are not intended to have to wear different hats in different scenarios. You'll hear people say that a lot. I have to put on my CEO hat right now. I have to put on my mom hat. I have to put on my wife hat. But right now in this moment, even though my kiddos aren't attached to my leg, I am also a mom. Right now, even though I am not holding my husband's hand, I am still a wife and I'm still an entrepreneur when I'm with my kids or I'm with my husband. And so it's the knowing that if we think about it as a one hat experience from the time my feet hit the floor to the time I go to sleep again later tonight, I am all of these things simultaneously. And so I ask myself this question at the end of every day: did I move the needle? And that looks different every single day because in the sphere of who we are, certain days, mommy life takes priority if my babies are sick. Sometimes my wife life takes the priority if me and my husband need date night rather than me staying late at the office. And so if I've moved the needle and I do this in the element of establishing my joy on a consistent basis, because joy, I believe, is a prosperous experience and exchange with the Heavenly Father every single day, to know that we have a gift to stand in that abundance and prosperity. And joy is one of my favorite fruits of the Spirit, right? Who doesn't want to live in an element of joy on a consistent basis? And so in my moving of the needle, did I experience joy today? And did I pass it? And so those are the two things that I'm looking for. And it looks different every single day. So to find grace in that and to understand that no matter what scenario you're in, you should be nurturing all realms of those areas at any given moment. So even though, again, they're not with me, I know where my kids are right now. I know what my husband is doing. I know that I kissed him this morning and I gave him an I love you. And he knows, even though we're not together right now, that our relationship is still intact. And so it's important from a relational perspective to make sure that you're touching base with those people that are in your sphere, your close circle, consistently, so that when you are in these other places and you're not able to talk to your friends every single day, you know that your sisters, your friends, your cousins, your mom, like they have your back because they know where you're at, and they know that you're pouring into your self-development in order for you to have that full cup and work off of overflow in every other realm of life.
It's beautifully said, to move the needle, and who you are, at any given time. And I think that this is important because we might wear hats and say, okay, today I'm going to be that one, and the other days that, oh no, I cannot, I don't have time, and we can see a burden. But now, when you fully understand that, no, this is you, you are all of that, at the same time, it's easier to move the needle. And I wanted you to give us, concrete maybe tips, because you say you move the needle. What do you do? How it is possible? What do you manage to be able to have success in your career, and also a healthy relationship with your husband and kids?
Yeah. And this is one of my favorite things to be able to teach, because you hear about this concept of work-life balance all the time. And I was a gymnast for 16 years. And so I always say that balance is a lie. One, because balance beam was my favorite event and I was best at it as well. And I never got a 10.0. Ever. Not one time did I ever hit the top of the top of the top perfection. And I think it's important for us to realize that in that work-life balance lie, we think that there is this equilibrium that we're supposed to reach. And that's simply not true. It's not possible to live in that expression every single minute of every single day, because at some point, the balls that you're juggling, you're going to have to let some go. I've heard this analogy, which I love so much. We're all juggling balls. Some of them are glass and some of them are rubber. And there are certain balls that you cannot drop, right? And so it's the knowing that I cannot drop the glass ball. If I drop the glass ball in my motherhood, if I drop the glass ball in my experience in my relationship with my husband, those are going to shatter. I'm not willing to let them shatter. And so they're priorities in this life. And then I've got the bouncy ones. It's okay if I don't talk to my mom today. It's okay if my girlfriends, I have to skip out on this one. It's okay if my business life and my Instagram doesn't get touched today, right? Those things will still thrive tomorrow. And so I have to be very conscientious of the balls that I'm choosing to carry every single day and which ones are worth my time and energy. So when I think about that balance not being possible, the word I like to use is alignment. And so same thing in the concept of moving a needle, I think of not necessarily a needle on a speedometer, but the needle within a level, right? And so you put the level up on the wall and you see, where is that bubble falling? There's never a perfection. Even when you hang the mirror or you hang the picture frame, you're like, man, it's a little bit off. I thought I just measured it right. It's never going to be that. Perfection is not attainable here on this side of earth. And so it's the knowing that it's progression over perfection. And that word alignment stems from my own crash and burn, my own experience of not being able to juggle things and letting those glass balls that I just mentioned drop to the ground. And I did. And that was about 5 years ago. And it was so painful. And so in the pursuit of my health and wealth and well-being now, it is all about making sure that I prioritize those well. The ways that I do that is in this alignment zone. And alignment is what you're going to learn about when you jump in to receive the actual methodology and also the 5-day devotional for how you can do this in your own life. And it's the 5 H's, right? It's the knowing of head. Where is your mind? Because we know that our mind is the place that our thoughts and actions will then follow suit. So are you mentally well? And then you go into heart. How is your heart? Because out of the heart, your mouth speaks. And so are you nurturing your spiritual life? Are you nurturing your individual well-being when it comes to your spirit, man? Right? And then you're going into your home. This was the priority for me during this time where I let it all go because I was out of alignment with my mental health. I was out of alignment with my spiritual well-being, didn't even know to pursue God and what was good. I was literally living for the world in the race of perfectionism, in the race of success. And so my home life was picture perfect from the outside looking in, but on the inside looking out, I was void. I was sad. I was broken. My husband and I weren't connecting on the level that we needed to. And so home, where the heart is, right? You hear this all the time, but it's the knowing that if I didn't prioritize my head, my heart, and my home, I then could not even consider prioritizing my health. And for a long time, I put health first. I put my physical well-being before my mental and spiritual well-being. And I found myself out of alignment. And then lastly is that component of handbag, right? And this is the success realm, knowing that if all of these other areas are aligned and well, the handbag piece, the part that so many times we try to put as the number one priority, is going to happen and flourish on its own. I do not have to consider or think about that on a consistent basis when all of these other alignment zones are healthy and whole. How did I do it? I went to a therapist. How did I do it? I found and got rooted in a community of believers who were alongside of me in that iron sharpening iron experience. How did I do it? I got rooted in the word, the one truth living word that was actually applicable to every component of my life. A lot of people think the Bible is just like a resource or the most number one selling book. It's way more than that. If the word is alive and you're a believer and you understand what that means, this is a place that you can turn to for every single trial, tribulation, problem, question, even joy, right? And so I really rooted myself in that. That's why I went to school to get my minister's licensing. Other things was really, I prioritized my nutrition. I prioritized my sleep. You hear the highly successful people, the things that they do on a consistent basis. Those are not lies. They are not fictitious. It is not, it would be nice if. It is when you do this, then this happens. And so really understanding, just like we know Glenn Lundy and his morning five, right, is understanding the gratitude practice, understanding that your head and your mental health are so important. And I stem everything back to the nucleus, and the nucleus is that home. And so making sure that your relationships inside of your house are intact and whole in order for you to go out and thrive and serve other people. And I think that's what we're all called to do in the moving the needle. It's not just what happens on the inside, it's what's happening on the outside on a consistent basis.
Yes, totally. And when you were talking about, it's important to study, to meditate, and along those lines. During the weekend, I was reading my Bible, and I was reading Ecclesiastes second, and they were saying that all the works, everything that we are doing, it's you doing for you, but at the end of the day, you will die, and someone else will take over, and that person will do whatever he or she wants. He might continue the legacy or destroy it, and then it's just going to be vanity. And that's why when you said that it is important to have everything aligned, because we know that we are here for a time, that whatever we are doing, it's for us, but also for people that we are with in the present. So now we are helping, if we build just for us and not for others, when we're going to be, when we will die, it will die with us. But when we build with others, for others, we can, continue, we can sustain others even after, after our death. And that's why it's important to have, as you said, the first one, the mind, the thoughts, what we are doing, things that we are doing, what do we have, the business, and this is will feel the, how you say that, the way that we're going to put everything together. That's why it's going to be successful, or it is not going to be successful. And also about our family relationship with colleague, relationship with a family member. Everything now is tied together when we have the right mind and also the right thoughts. So I would like also you to talk a little bit more about your business, because I know that you are helping, women, I believe also men, to have that alignment, to be able to create something without feeling that, oh, but if at the end of the day I will die, why I should do that? So
Yes.
can you tell us more also about how we can feel complete, how we can grow while creating that business?
Yeah, I really believe that the building of business happens from the inside out. And as I said, in that lack of alignment, you will do the opposite. You'll build for the outside world. You'll start to devise a business plan that's all about everyone else and what they need and what that problem is that you're trying to solve. I don't necessarily think that that's wrong. I just think it's out of order. I think the important part is understanding thyself, understanding who and whose you are and why you're called into serving and helping that specific problem. You hear a lot of people talk about their why and understanding your why, because if you know your why, you'll never stop. And I believe in that, but it's not just the why, it's the identity piece behind the why. And so knowing that you're a child of God, knowing that you are a queen or a king of the utmost high, it gives you a sense of authority and confidence when you walk into pursuing your calling, when you walk into developing a business. So I started doing this first and foremost out of creating a podcast. And so I'm 3 years into a podcast. It's been an amazing journey. I interview people just like you are doing right now, and I've been doing it for over 120 episodes at this point, and really just tuning into people, asking them questions about their messy comeback stories, asking them questions about their mental, physical, and spiritual health and how it applies to what they're doing. And as I was doing that in the first year, I simultaneously started a membership. And that membership program was with women specifically who were looking to thrive in business and looking to take their side hustle into a full-time career. And so I started serving them on a bi-monthly basis, and we would literally dive in first to who they are. And so through scripture, biblical foundation, through that spiritual alignment piece, we would then step into their business and entrepreneurship. And so that's why I'm a thought leader in spiritual entrepreneurship, is because I don't think it's one and then the other. I think it's both and making sure that you get it in the right priority. After that, I realized that there was still some like roadblocks, that there was still mindset issues that people were not being able to do, that they needed to get outside of their comfort zone. They needed to get shooken a little bit more, shaken a little bit more. I have been told many times that I push people out of airplanes or off cliffs. And while that might sound very fear intensive, that is not my intent. I always tell them that I would never do that if I didn't train them up, if I didn't put on the appropriate equipment that they needed to take flight, right? I'm not going to push you off the cliff and expect you to smack on the floor. I know that you can fly because I am giving you tools and resources to do so. But additionally, I'm meeting you and treating you and teaching you and training you to go upward first, upward alignment before vertical or horizontal service, right? Vertical before horizontal, making sure that you know that allows you to constantly be in that state of alignment. So I realized that they needed this. They needed something bigger than just a 1.5 hour, 2 hour meeting, even though they were so impactful and they left in prayer and on a high. The very next day, I wasn't there for them. So they needed that consistency. So I ended up creating retreat format for my business as well. So I take women internationally now. Originally, it was right here in the States, and I'm sure I'll do more in the States as well. But internationally, that jolt, that culturalism, you have that sense of travels that's rooted inside of who you are, just in your language, just in your culture is that heritage piece. And so taking people outside of their comfort zone, taking them and teaching them that mind, body, and soul alignment, so that when they get into that place of aha, there is no doubt that recognition of passion and that recognition of purpose when you get into alignment with who God sees you as, because He actually will deposit what that calling is. He will actually show you the way. He will create the clarity. But until you're willing to surrender all the things, especially the comfort zone, He can never get you out of the boat. He can say it 1,000 times, but if you stay in your comfort zone, you will not be activated into your greatest purpose. And so that's why I like to activate purpose within people, and retreats, membership, coaching one-on-one, having people thrive in their business, and seeing them actually do that from a place of service and ministry and make money doing it, right? This is the part where a lot of people have a hard time. They're like, wait, so you're teaching them how to utilize their gifts and talents. You're teaching them maybe to start a ministry or even to utilize their pastoral gifting in serving or therapy, right? And then you're charging money, how is that godly? Well, if you don't think that God is not ready to provide for you in the provision of everything that you need, it's biblically sound. You can also read Proverbs 31 and look at the woman, the Proverbs 31 woman, and how she lives her life and how God provides in every single thing that she's doing as an entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneur. She wakes up before the sun, just like me. She gets her hands moving and toiling over her gifts and talents before her kids are risen, just like me. She raises her kids. She loves her husband. She goes out into the market. She's actually serving out of her gifts and talents. She's coming home with finances that can then thrive and feed and serve her family. Right? This is the type of woman that I love to help nurture. I do also get to support men, but for the most part, I have an attraction quality to females, and I'm so grateful for how God is using me in that way. And so I hope that if anybody's interested, even if they just need prayer towards that alignment, I'm your go-to girl for that as well. You can DM me and I would love to support you and just pray over you and help you in that process of clarity.
Thank you very much. And I know, for the few interaction that we had, you are very someone special. You are loving, caring. I told you, when we were crossing it, and I turned around and I said, "You are so kind." I was. Oh, yes, you're very. She's awesome. So you can totally call her. She will, if it's just one prayer, she will take the time and do it. So please also, Tamra, take the time to talk about your free offer.
Yeah, I mentioned it briefly earlier, so you guys can get into your own individual joy zone. It's not going to look like mine, but I am going to teach you how you can get access to it. And so I go through those 5 H's that I mentioned before. I have a daily devotion in correlation to each of those things. I tell you a bit about my backstory and how I got to that place and how you can too. And so I would love for you to just jump in. You can just do your name and email, easy. I won't bombard you, I promise. But I have a lot of ways that we can interact. And so follow me on Instagram for sure. That's where I'm most active, at Tamra Andress. And let's connect. I look forward to it. Liddy, thank you so much for this time. I'm so excited to see how this is going to change the trajectory of people's lives.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. I'm going to see you tomorrow with another speaker. And remember, it is possible to have a healthier family relationship.